Okay. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay. Then here we go. So thanks for joining today, our webinar from Special Ed Technology Center. And this is our recap of what went down at the ATIA conference that was in Orlando just a few weeks ago. Anyone who's joining us, if you went to ATIA, let me know, because I'd love you to pop in with your own thoughts about it, because if you've been to a conference like this before, you know there's so many things to see and sessions to go to that you just really don't have time to do them all. So it's fun if you're able to go with the team or something and split up, or hear from folks who went to other things. So feel free to jump in. Well, let's get started. So I'm just going to share a few things about what I heard in some of the sessions that I went to, and then when I went through the exhibitors hall, some of the technology and things that are happening there. And since I'm an SLP, a lot of what I did was with that slant. So I was really looking around for communication type things, but hopefully I've included some things to appeal to everyone. So these are some of the sessions that I went to, a few of the sessions that I enjoyed that I thought you might be interested in. So I'm just going to speak briefly about these because they were, obviously there's more information than I can share today. But Tar Heel Shared Reader, if you're familiar with Tar Heel Reader, this is a new sort of addition to Tar Heel Reader that that they've created. So I wanted to tell you about that. I went to a session about Every Move Counts, which Linda is here today, and I did a book study on, and it's a great program. This is about family. And then a team who presented about how they're building capacity at their co-op in their school districts. And I thought they had some really fun ideas. And so I wanted to share a few of those. And then Carolyn Messelwaite and Gretchen Hanser's presentation on phonological awareness instruction, I thought was great because it was one of those sessions that gave you a lot of takeaways that you might just use right away. So those are the few that I want to tell you about. So starting with Tar Heel Shared Reader, if you're not familiar with Tar Heel Reader, I'll just give you a quick overview of what that is. So it's online accessible books, and they're written by, they can be written by anyone. The DLM, which is from the University of North Carolina, has created this alternative assessment DLM for a lot of states. And so they've created a lot of materials and research-based materials and evidence about emergent reading strategies for students. And they have books on the Tar Heel Reader that are aligned with Common Core standards, I believe, and also the DLM standards. So those are some great ones to look at. But Tar Heel Shared Reader, which I'll just show you in a minute. Let me go to my next slide. I think I have some information. Okay. So they've added, this is looking at students who are working on emergent literacy. And I'm going to look at my notes here from my session. So this is what the books look like without the picture symbols, the regular Tar Heel Reader books. You can use switches to turn the pages. You can do it direct select. The words are read aloud with text to speech, but they've added, with Tar Heel Shared Reader project, they've added the universal core symbols, 36 core symbols from Project Core, which is another UNC program, Stepping Up Technology Grant. So they've added those Project Core universal symbols to it, and then they've added comments, the ability to make comments within Tar Heel Reader. And then also people have left their own comments, so you could use those as an idea. So they have, I'll go back a slide, as part of shared reading strategy, Karen Erickson and team talk a lot about CAR. So the idea that when you're reading a book with a student, you comment on it, you read the story, you comment on, so this is like each page as you're reading. And then the A is, used to be ask a question, but they changed it to ask for participation. Because the goal of this whole thing is just the interaction, and then respond. So they've added these picture supports to be able to do that, and the comments that go along with it. I'm gonna check our chat real quick. Okay, thank you for this question. The question is Tar Heel Reader a paid subscription? No, it's free, so anyone can use it, and I will show you how to get to it right now. So I am just like so excited about this idea. Let me escape. How do I escape from my, there we go. Okay, so there's two things to know about this. Sharedreader.org is the teacher site you can see here. This is gonna give you access to modules, which they're changing all the time because they're actually using these with a group of students. The same with Project Core. They're going in, working with students, trying these things out. So as they do this whole project, they've kind of changed some of the modules based on what they're seeing as a need. So it's Karen Erickson, and there's professional development. There's also things like resources for administrators if you want to get them on board and what you're doing and why. But then if you go to shared.tarheelreader.org, you can see here in my URL, this is where you find the books, and it's free. You just put in that URL, click find a book. This looks really similar to Tar Heel Reader, which is still available. Let me move my window down. Okay, so the difference that you'll see right away is that there's these little comments. So in shared reader, they're using the same 70,000 plus books that are available, but they've added these option to have comments available and picture symbols. And I was telling you about the DLM books. So if you just want to look for a book and you want something that you know has been reviewed and may meet some standards that you're looking at, the books will say DLM, like right here. Mary Saves the Class Project, DLM. That's the dynamic learning map. So let's go ahead and click on this one. Yesterday when I was trying this out, the speech wasn't working. I know that you do have to click on your settings and speech. It's automatically on silent, so you can choose which voice you want. There's limited voices. I tend to think my built-in is the best, but I think that's just somebody told me that once and I stuck with it. So if we click on this Mary Saves the Class Project, it looks like this, and up here is the comment. You can see these are some options, reading options. Let's see, lady, I can't see the whole thing there, but you can decide how many picture symbols you want available on the page. So there's 36 total. You can decide what you want that to look like. If there are words you don't want available, you can uncheck them here. Oh, I see, my window's in the way. And then comments, although, the way my computer is showing this, I can't, there we go. No, I can't get out of the reading controls. Sorry about that. Let me just see for a second. I'm just going to go back. I just didn't have a full view of the reading controls. Let me open it again. So here's the number of
make, go,
the symbols that I have. And usually, let's see. Okay, so it highlighted like. So for each page, so somebody has added a comment, added what they might comment as a teacher on this page. So they might say, Mary saves the class project. They read the book, or the student listens. I like class projects, or something like that. You're commenting and waiting for that interaction or response from your student. And then asking for participation. You know, you might be saying, what do you think? And then you go to your next page. But I'm sorry, it's looking a little strange on my computer right now. It normally looks fine, and I can turn the pages easily. Here, I got a chat. Maybe someone's helping me out. Oops. Do they have options for visually impaired students? Good question. I know that Tar Heel Reader, just normal Tar Heel Reader does. You could, I mean, they have some options. You can change the background color. I think you can change the text color, and you can also increase the size of the text. You can increase the size of the buttons to go to the next page. I don't know why I'm not getting access to the turn the page options. I think it has something to do with maybe how I'm displaying. Let me just try one more and then move on. Okay, so normally there would be a button right here, and there is when I'm not showing it in Zoom, so I'm not sure. A button on either side to turn the page. So a day at the beach. And then you would read it with your student. They have these they can comment with. You know, obviously if they have a communication system, they will use their communication system, and that's great. But these are available too. And then you've got options, ideas for what the comment might be, or you can make your own. So it's pretty cool. They're also working on, let me go back to my, they're working on a new grant that they've received. And it's, so if you're familiar with Project Core, which is where these core symbols, 36 core symbols come from, they're gonna work on the next steps from core vocabulary instruction in classrooms, which is the focus of Project Core, and getting it available for teachers all day. And moving from emergent literacy to conventional literacy for students. And so like, kind of like, what are the next steps? How do we go from this initial core vocabulary system for a student to more robust vocabulary and systems? So that should be interesting. That's called the Bridges project that they're going to be doing next. Okay, let me get back to my screen so I can see if we have any more questions. All right. Okay, I'll keep going. Feel free to interrupt me if you'd like to. And again, for those who weren't on in the very beginning, if you were at ATIA and you want to join it, let me know about sessions you went to, or comment on these if you went, please do. It looks like we have one more comment. And okay, thanks. We have a comment that it worked fine when it's not in Zoom, the Tar Heel shared reader. So check it out on your own if you can. Oops, sorry, let me get back to where I was at. Okay, the next section I wanted to tell you about was this Every Move Counts family guide that I just mentioned earlier. So Every Move Counts chats and clicks, EMC3, is a program that's been around for a while, and it's looking at those beginning communication skills and behaviors for students, and how we as adults can kind of take what the students are showing us and help develop communication from there, and looking at things like sensory and identifying preferences and things like that. And a very what's the word I'm looking for, structured way to do that. And I was saying earlier, Linda and I did a book study on it last year, I think it was, right? And we might do that again. So if you're interested, let me know. But this session, they kind of used it as a sounding board for professionals to kind of give some, and parents, to some feedback about their new guide that is this family guide. And I have it here. They pass out a draft. And the idea is to give families a checklist and also some information about what communication looks like for might look like for their students, and just to say that however their student communicates is fine, and that and help identify maybe how they are communicating at this point, if it's not through words or speech. And so there's a part in the guide that looks at that gives some examples, like, does your student or does your child, trying to look for it, how do you know what your child likes? Do they kind of giving some ideas of what are they doing at bath time? What do they do at when they're eating? When you cuddle them, what do you notice? How do they get your attention? Do they use their voice? Are they using gestures? Do they come to you? Do they use technology? So it's a nice, seems like a nice initial guide to help families kind of start thinking about some of these things. And then it has a checklist in the end. And I wish I put this, I'm gonna get to it. I wish I put this in the slides, because it has a really nice checklist, family guide checklist, and it has things like communication methods. What does your child do to let you know what they like? Vocalize, affect, they give some examples, smiling, things like that. Movement, sensory things. What does your child like? Eating, drinking, bathing. Things that, parents are the experts of their kids, right? But sometimes it's nice as a parent to have it kind of laid out and have a way to think about these things. So then you can bring this to your team and say, okay, here's what I've thought about, and let's have this next discussion about where are we going to go from here. And I see there's a question. Are the authors going to reprint the Every Move Counts Clicks and Chats book? It's hard to come across because I think it's out of print. That's a good question. I didn't think it was out of print, the original book, not this family one. Linda, maybe you have, Linda Daly, maybe you have input on this, but I will look into that and see if we can find that. I think last year I recommended it to team and had a link to how to buy it on their website, but I know they've changed their website. So that's a good question. I will look into it, unless Linda replies before I know. Let's see. Okay, thanks, Linda. She's gonna look into it. Okay, so I'm excited to see when this comes out, and I think it could be a helpful tool for parents. There's my picture of it. The next session, oh boy, I got to move a little faster, is this capacity building session from these two. I think they're both SLPs from, oh yeah, I said that, Southern Illinois, and they, as we know, if we're doing assistive technology in school districts, it's there's a lot to do, and we want to try to spread our knowledge but not have that expert coming in as the expert idea. So building capacity with teams and empowering teams. because they do have skills, a lot of skills that we can help support. And so you may recognize also them from Practical AAC. I've seen a few blog posts that they've done, and I remember one about literacy that Gina, or I think it's Gina, did. That was fantastic. So you can check them out on Practical AAC as well. They had three things that they really wanted to target. They said this is going to be a 3-year plan. Nothing comes quickly. And we really want to be able to support families more, support our school teams more, and engage our administration in this conversation of assistive technology and helping kids with complex communication needs. What does this look like? Why does this take so much time and resources? And how can we do this well? And they had some really fun ideas. I'm gonna actually get out of here and show you a couple. For their families, let's see, where did I put that? No, here it is. They had, they do some family nights, and I think some people do that, family game nights or something, but they do a make and take. So they quoted Gail Bowser saying that, where's her quote here? I don't see it, but basically saying, sorry, I'm gonna make you dizzy, that it works best when we provide teams with the materials that we're actually asking them to use. As far as like actually having implementation work. And so they really thought that was important, and they decided anything that they're gonna do with their capacity building, they're gonna have an opportunity to have families and teachers do this make and take. Even though it's extra resources and time, they thought that was really important so that they will actually use it and go back and do these things. So here's an example from one of their family activity nights. They used the Gruffalo as their theme, and they read the book, and they read the book and model it, and use, you know, low-tech core boards or high-tech communication devices to model. And so they're showing families how to do these strategies, and everybody practices. And then, and their kids are there too often. And then they have a make and take. And sometimes it's related to, I think, the activity that they're doing, but sometimes it's not. So this one is cute. This is, they were ironing a core board onto a pillow, and then they could take it home and, or pillowcase, and put it on their pillow. So just fun things like that. I thought that was pretty cute. And then they also have, for their family capacity building, a connection, I forget what they call it, I could look, but where they're connecting families in their co-op to each other who are have kids who use AAC. And so they've had parents fill out a form, a release form, and they've connected, like, I think they said they've connected like a strong AAC users and family to like beginning users, and it's a way for them to connect outside of the school day and meet families doing similar things. So I thought that was neat. They also shared this 5 fantastic family blogs from Assistive Wear. I have the link to that. I'll put it in the chat in a little bit. I think I need to move on, so let me just check the chat because I think we have an update. Okay, you can order the manual, says Linda, and she put the link for the Every Move Counts. Thank you, Linda. Okay. Let's see, where are we at? Okay, so you can also check out this team on YouTube if you put in this Basque AAC. They actually have an awesome YouTube presence because they have videos of modeling with books and AAC. I thought they said with kids, but I'm not sure. But I've seen a few of their videos on modeling, and it's great. So I would check out their YouTube. They also have an Instagram post. Oh, the link. Okay, Linda's needing help with the link. I will make that available after this. So the phonological awareness session was Carolyn Musselwhite and Gretchen Hanser. I liked this session because, like I was saying before, it's one of those really practical sessions where you have things that you could take away and use right away. And they share so much of their resources, which I think a lot of people in assistive technology and AAC do, because we know it takes time and effort. And I just feel like we're lucky that we're in a field where sharing is normal, and that's so helpful. And so Gretchen works for a school in New York City where I don't know what the percentage is, but many of the students also have CVI. And so a lot of the suggestions they talked about had accommodations for CVI, which I thought was really neat. And I'm gonna look at my notes really quickly. So they talk about that phonological awareness is, part of a well-balanced literacy program, right? Daily emergent literacy activities. So we're again looking at emergent literacy like we were with Tar Heel shared reading. So looking at phonological awareness in the word level, intrasyllabic, syllable, phoneme, and they gave a lot of examples. And one thing I liked about their examples is they would say, here's how you change that for older kids. And sometimes it's as simple as saying a song, instead of doing it as a song, you might do it as a chant or a rap. And I like those quick little easy, oh yeah, you could just do that and it feels a little more appropriate. But they also gave really specific ideas for older kids. And all of this, most of this information, including their PowerPoint, is on AAC Girls Blogspot, .blogspot.com, which you shared with me, Linda, thank you. But they've posted their handout from ATIA on this blogspot, and I think it's the first post right now. So you can download it even if you weren't there and check it out and see some of these activities. So here's an example that I loved. A lot of the stuff they talk about is using an alternative pencil or different types of alternative pencils, and occluders, and using like a step-by-step, or maybe like a mid-tech where you're recording your voice in multiple different, like a step-by-step, different messages that you have available throughout the day, that because there's some things that are gonna come up. So this is an example of, first you'd have the child choose a letter with however they can with AAC or their alternative pencil, and write that letter on the whiteboard, and then you use your step-by-step and you would record, on the step-by-step you'd say, you say, and then you'd record, I'll say at, and then you record, put them all together and we get, so then you do this as a chant with the group. And so the child hits, you say, and then everyone else says like, B, some letter sound. And then the child hits a step-by-step, I'll say at, and then they hit it again, put them all together and we get, and then everyone says bat, and then they're talking about change it right away, change that word family in that same activity, get lots and lots of exposure. So kind of like some simple things when you think about it, and easy to do and change on the spot, but they have fantastic resources. Just checking our chat, okay. Great, thanks. Oops. Oh, I guess we're ready to move on. Let me just double check. Yes. Oh, and the National Academy of Hope, or International Academy of Hope, is on Facebook, and that's the school that Gretchen Hanser works on. One reason to follow that, besides just seeing what they're doing with kids with CVI, is because they have permission from all their most of their students to be on this, and so they're also showing like modeling or doing some of these things with students. So it's a really nice resource. Oh good, I guess I'm not going too slow. I'm gonna take a break and see if there's any questions. Okay, I was using my SLP skills to really take an actual break because I don't always. So lots of things at the vendor hall. If you've been to a conference like this, Closing the Gap or ATA, it's like overwhelmingly exciting, but overwhelming. So again, I'm an SLP and I looked at certain things. So I'll show you a few things that I thought were interesting. These are kind of the main things I'll talk about today, and I may add a few things based on how much time we have. I included Talk to Me technologies because I didn't really know about them, but I'd heard about them. And if anybody uses Talk to Me technologies systems or has purchased, let me know, because you probably share it better than I will. But basically, it's another option for a way to get dedicated devices, AAC devices for students. And one thing that stood out to me is that they will loan AAC systems to SLPs for 8 weeks, which is pretty long. So that's something to look into if you're trying to get your hands on something to trial. And then for families, they'll loan to families for 4 weeks. They have 2 product lines, and basically what it is their WeGo line is things that run on iOS, like AAC apps, and they have different sizes. And then they have the Zuvo line, which is Windows-based communication systems that, because they're Windows-based, they also have some other accessibility options, and you can have eye gaze as one of the options on those. So that was something new, sort of new for me. Let's see, we've got a chat. The question is, are they tablet-based tools? Yes, they are. Oops, I'm sorry. They are. They look like an iPad with a case, right? Or a Windows tablet with a case. But they've created them so that they can be purchased through insurance as dedicated devices, if that makes sense. And I guess I could show you. They loan the devices with third-party software. Yeah, it's like all packaged together. So it is their product and they use those different apps. Ablenet does this similar thing with, I think it's called their Quick Talk or Freestyle. A few, Forbes does the same thing. They use other apps, but they have their own device. So it's,
Can I ask a question, Terry?
yes, please do.
So those devices are usually pretty expensive. Is it usually for when people can't get an iPad with the funding they have, or?
Right, that could be it. So this would be, yeah, if you want to purchase your insurance similar to an iPad, as you can see here. Yeah. This is that Zuvo Windows baseline. And I just think that since it's such a long loan trial, it could be an option if you just have a hard time getting your hands on something. It's kind of an interesting way to get access. I saw that they also have communication boards. You can, if you're looking for information about how to have a communication board in your playground, there's tons of information. We recently had an AT chatter about core vocabulary, and Sarah Ayers from Bellevue School District shared how she's done that in some of her schools. But I guess they offer a way to do that too, or a poster. If you guys have seen those around, it's kind of been a hot thing lately. Linda, did you have any more questions about that, or did that answer your?
Nope, that was what I was wondering. Thanks.
Okay, great. Many of you are probably familiar with Mountain Mover mounts, and they still have their mounts. They have different new kinds, but one thing that just stood out to me that maybe you've seen, maybe you haven't, is that this power mount. So you could click a switch and it can tilt. You could also click a switch and it can move out and in. So I just thought that was kind of interesting for, like, I specifically was looking at it with the lens of eye gaze users, and I thought how that could be really interesting for users who have their eye gaze and are also going about their day. Yeah, pretty neat. Oops. So I would definitely check out their website. They have, for a few different mounts, power mounts. They also have some videos about how you can have like some settings where you have like a setting 1 where you want your mount to swing out a certain way. So you click that, and with your second switch, or with your second switch, you can have your second setting. So it swings a different way, or it tilts up, which is pretty neat. Smile Mouse, has anybody heard of this? This is a way to access your computer. So this is on a Windows-based computer. This is not a great picture, I'm sorry, but it's all I could get. So this is I think this is the developer right here who I was talking to. He was testing it out. You can see that his lips and his eyebrows are green. The way it works is he's pulled up the little calibration screen here, and when you move your head, so it does take head movement, and then it'll move the cursor on the screen, and then when you smile, it clicks. A new feature that he said is just being released is that you could use your eyebrows to click. I don't remember when he said that was going to happen, but you can also click and drag with this and several other things. I think I wanted to show you a part of the video, and I hope it'll work. I don't think I have it open yet, so let's see.
Hello, my name is Todd. I'm disabled from the shoulders down due to multiple sclerosis.
I'll just check in real quick. Can you hear that, and is it playing okay?
Yep, it's good.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to fast forward just a minute so you can see how it's working.
That uses only a standard webcam. The Smile Mouse software follows your face, as you can see from the green lines on my eyebrows and mouth. And when you want to click, all you do is smile. You can see the strength of your smile in the green bar to the right of the Smile Mouse window.
Okay, and he also shows like how you can click and drag and things like that. So it'd be interesting if, just to think about, if you had a student who you think might be able to do something like that, might benefit from something. It is $500 for a lifetime license, like you own it. And then he said that there was also a new subscription option, and I didn't write down what it was, and I didn't see it on the website. So it might be something that you contact them about if you're interested in. This is not super exciting, but it was news to me, so I wanted to share it with you guys. And maybe you already know, I hope you do know, because they said they've been trying to tell teams. So if you have WordMaker online, there's going to be a change. There's going to be an actually new program for WordMaker because of the changes with Flash. So as of December, I wrote down here, Flash won't be available through Chrome, which is the biggest browser. And because of that, when you go into WordMaker online, you edit online and it's in Flash. So they had to change that. So the new version is going to be that you have to download it and you will edit on your desktop computer. on your desktop. Students and the player will still be online. So if you've set up Student Center or something, I believe that they'll still be able to use that online option for it. So I asked about Chromebooks because a lot of districts have Chromebooks and SLPs or teachers. And so they said that's something that they're working on. So the point that they made was that if you're in this situation, contact them now because they will figure something out for you. And so I took a picture of the sales consultant information here. This is the person they said to contact, this Allie Pettigrew. Sorry, it's not the best picture, but obviously I can help you with that if you do need help figuring out who to contact. Okay, I'm checking my chat. Make it full screen. Thank you, Kristen. I will. And will it be any cheaper?
That was just for the video. Otherwise, you're great.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
We could
Okay,
see it, though. We could see the
slides. Okay, sorry about that. I don't know if it'll be any cheaper, Linda. That's a good question, or the same. I don't know. And I assume because you already have, some people already have license, right? Or it's a subscription, I can't remember. So I'm not sure what that will happen there. Sorry, I don't have that information. Okay. All right. Oops, did I skip over any? Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Why can't I? Here we go. Okay. So is anybody else, is that new information to anybody else about WordMaker, or is I the only one that was like, oh my gosh, that's a change? Because we had just gotten it, WordMaker Online, so. Have you seen this? This is Skyle for iPad Pro from Inclusive. I saw it on a Facebook AAC social media thing and thought it looked really neat. I think Kristen, you saw it too. It's an option for eye gaze, and I did try it out at ATIA, and I thought it worked well. Basically, and I hope I say this right because I'm trying to remember, it's just like you put your iPad in it. So it's like a case with the eye gaze on it. So you put your iPad in it and then it acts as an eye gaze system. You can check it out more on at that link, but pretty neat option to have. So that's iOS, obviously, so you would use your AAC apps. Kristen asked me to think about this, and I'm glad you did, Kristen, because this is, so alternative mouse access for iOS. So with the new assistive touch setting in iOS 13, you can get a lightning USB adapter that, this white piece here that you see on the iPad. This is an iPad on a stand, and plug in potentially any type of mouse or joystick and make it work as an alternative mouse for an iPad. It doesn't always work with every mouse, is what the folks at Inclusive told me, but that's a pretty nice option to get that adapter and work away. Another option is that Inclusive has this Blue Line Bluetooth joystick, and it's Bluetooth. It has a cord right now in it in this picture because it has a switch attached to it, because I wanted to see how that would work and what functions you could do. But essentially it doesn't have any cords, and I think the battery life was like 15 hours if you were using it straight, like full use the whole time. It's got those 3 functions, so it could be drag, dwell, swipe, but then you can also, I think there are, yeah, I said 2 switch ports, so you could have additional functions that way if you wanted. This Has anybody heard of this app, Inner Voice? We've got a comment. Let's see. Nope. Thanks. At first I was not sure. Whoops, sorry about that. Oh, where's my, sorry. At first I wasn't sure, sorry, hang with me here, what to think of it, because I was just like in AAC mode thinking about AAC apps. But then I realized that this is kind of like a speech and language social communication app. Oh, thanks. I just checked the chat and Linda sent a link for using the mouse on iOS 13. Thanks, Linda. But it's interesting, and I think it might be a local company because I was Googling it and it showed up in Washington. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. But I didn't talk to her about that when I was there. So I believe she said it's $4.99, as in $4.99. I forgot to look that up, but if I'm wrong, then I'm sorry. So it's using Microsoft AI, and the kids in the pictures, which can also be a picture of your student or a teddy bear, their facial expressions change. So on the left, there's these little emojis, happy, sad, angry, and the facial expression of the student will change. It also will talk, so it looks like you can actually see what they're saying. So it's kind of interesting, and it has room for some social stories. It has room for like some basic communication symbol messages. You can chat with the symbols. If you use symbols on the app, you can send it to an iMessage and it'll show up as text. The cup example was, she took a picture of a cup, and then the girl in this picture said, I don't know what it says, but this is a cup on a table or something like that. Let me check my chat before I show you the link to it real quick, because there's a video. Okay, so I'll answer that question in just a minute. Let me show this app, and then I'll get back to the question about Speak Pros, which sounds interesting. Here, okay, whoops, let me get rid of my chat here. Oh, here, maybe I can check the price if I do that. That's not the video I wanted. Maybe this one I'll show you.
Welcome to Inner Voice.
Okay, I'm not gonna show you that whole thing. My daughter would probably say, that's creepy, but it's really interesting when you see like the kids' pictures doing it. And I'm trying to find this one video that was pretty interesting to show you. Features. They show you kind of like how you can take a picture and then you line up those dots and see it speaking. It had a bunch of social stories kind of built in. They talk about using it for video modeling, which I think is a great idea. But I don't know, something to look at and see what you think. And if you've used it or you do use it, I'd be interested to hear what you think about it. Let me just really quick see if I came up with the price. Yeah, $4.99. Okay. Now back to the chat. There was a question about Speak Pro's app that uses eye gaze in their pro version. No, I didn't see that there. But I'd love to know more about it. Were you there? Did you see it? Or wonder how you've heard about it? Tom Gruber, who invented Siri, and Lucas Stuber are on board in the latest venture. I know Lucas. Well, cool. Neat. I don't know about it, but I will take a look at it. And thanks for putting the link so everyone can take a look and see what it's all about. Very interesting. I'll have to look at it more. Maybe we have, whoops. Let me go back to our chat again. Here's a link to Inner Voice that shows kids interacting with it. Oh, thanks, Linda. So I'll let you guys check that out. There's a link that probably the one I wanted to show you about Inner Voice. Oh, she didn't share with everyone. Okay, yeah, go ahead and share it with everyone, Linda. And I'll just share a couple more things before we wrap up. But if you want to look more at Inner Voice, Linda's going to put the link to the video that I think I was going to show in the chat. Thanks, Linda. And I'll add that one to my PowerPoint too. So if you guys want the PowerPoint, you can have it on there. I think that might have been the last formal thing that I had on here. It is. I do want to show you our website because it's changed, but I also want to show you one more thing. You guys can still see me, right? Because for some reason I can't see myself, but can you see me?
Yeah, we
Okay.
can see you.
Thanks. Okay. It's a good reminder because I can't remember what I'm doing this a lot, I feel like, when I'm doing these. But I wanted to show you, this is from PRC. I didn't put this in the PowerPoint, but it's Empower 2020 AAC Literacy Planner. If you haven't seen it, you can request it. You might be able to get it online, but you could also just email Jason Smith in our area in Washington State, and I'm sure he can get it to you. But it's a pretty nice little planner that they've developed. It has some planning charts around literacy, but for every month there's a new book. There's a different books that you may already have that you're using with students possibly. The Pigeon Needs a Bath, and then they map out core words. They have a link to, oh, that's different. Sometimes they have a link or a QR code to music that goes along with it for the target words or the book. They have sensory activities, like this one is a craft about shaving cream painting, and words that would go along with it. And then a writing activity, like with the pigeon, and you write the captions with your AAC device or system or the alphabet. They have an idea for like home, sensory bathtub thing, and a link to like Pinterest. So it's kind of nice because they've got all these things. I know there are lots of core options out there, but this is a really nice way to have them all in one spot. So I would recommend asking for this. It also has a lamp core board in it. It has a prompt hierarchy. So kind of a nice resource. Okay, let me check our chat real quick. Okay, yes, I think maybe you're saying you have heard of this, or you have this maybe, which is awesome. So any questions about any of the things that we talked about, or the things that I saw, or anyone who was there who has something to add? Okay. Oh gosh, what a question. What did you feel like was the direction AAC is moving? That's a great question. Am I allowed to say I don't know? I thought, one thing I noticed, there was a lot of eye gaze options. There are a few that I didn't talk about, but I think more and more they're becoming more eye gaze options available. I think I saw a lot of companies that I'm familiar with, like Cough Drop, Sautillo, PRC, Toby, and the same tools that we're used to, but maybe different features within them. So that was actually kind of comforting to me because I felt like I know this program, but maybe there's some new features that I didn't know that can help students, or that with the new iOS, there are some features on the iPad that might give a little bit more support to our iPad, or iPad-based AAC apps. So that was interesting. Great question. Oh, has PRC made their dedicated devices any easier to program? One thing about PRC, they do have a new, why can't I think of it right now? If you have like an accent and you have, why can't I think of it? The new program they have. You can get an upgrade to it, and I would do that. So contact your rep, and I'm so sorry I'm blanking right now. I will tell you, I'll email you with the information. So yeah, before we go, I do want to show you that we have, oops, sorry. We have a new kind of temporary site right now because we had some difficulty, and it's pretty awesome actually. So it looks a little different though. So if you go to our website and you're looking for like webinars are here, and you're gonna click on this, which is a Google Doc, that will give you information about our webinars. Here's what our homepage looks like right now. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear. Can you say that again? Was there a question? Okay, I guess not. So if you're looking for our website and it looks a little different, this is why. We still have access to our YouTube channel and our Facebook page, and our Tuesday tips are there, which are these short videos on a lot of the things that we want to know about. I think Brenda Del Monte is doing a lot of those on AAC tips, and they're awesome. So I would check those out. But there you go. So we are just about at the end of our time. I'll stay on if there's any questions. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining. And I'm going to stop our recording somehow.